an angel. Oh my God. Like, I'm just so emotionally overwhelmed right now. I don't know what's going on. And because what I felt at that moment, it was just like this rush of emotion. I just got very emotional, and I can't explain it because there was also like a sense of peace there that he had. And it was like up against my internal struggle of what I had going on. It jolted me. That's the only way I can explain it. Whew, okay. All right. So we are back. We are back with another episode of Testimony, My Life, His Glory. Welcome to episode 2. And if you haven't watched episode 1, definitely please check that out on my channel. You don't want to miss it. I lay out all of 2019 where I was perceived to be on top of the world. So definitely check that out because it ties into this story and this journey that I'm taking you all on. So, hi. I'm Letitia Renee Brown. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. And let's just jump right into it, shall we? So January and February 2020, I moved to LA for 2 months. And how I got there was I was already planning on moving to LA, but I was kind of scheming on how I can do it by using my sugar daddy's money. Interesting. Interesting. And if you want to follow that sugar baby journey, it's a 3-part series that I have coming out, and you can definitely check that out on my channel as well. It was already in the works. I already wanted to move to LA. I'm in the entertainment space. That's the place to be out there. And so I made it happen. I moved all of my things out of my high-rise apartment in Midtown Atlanta that I had and moved into my mom's house. And I flew my butt to LA and stayed in this beautiful Airbnb owned by this married couple, this younger married couple who were so dope, so fabulous. And they literally had a tree house, like 3 or 4 stories of a house. And I was staying on the bottom level. And that's what they rented out as their Airbnb. Genius. And they were so hospitable. So my ex-boyfriend came with me to LA to visit and to kind of get me acclimated. And so when we met the couple, it was kind of funny because like the wife knew of him because of some of the work that he's done. And the husband, he was so hospitable. He offered to take us hiking on up to the Hollywood sign. I was like, what? Yes, absolutely want to go. I'm an outdoors girl, so I love stuff like that. And so we went hiking, and if you're in LA and you know about LA, that is a thing to do out there. And I loved it. I loved it. I took so many pictures. I had a really, really good time. So that was kind of like the energy when we first got there. It was like, let's have fun, let's explore. But it was interesting because at the start of each year, I usually do a 21-day juice cleanse or some kind of fast or some kind of reset or whatever. Not for spiritual reasons, just probably just for some kind of weight loss thing because of the binge cycle that I was in personally because of the eating disorder I struggled with for 20 plus years. That's another journey. If you haven't seen it already on my channel, definitely check that out on my channel. And I laid it out from front to back, my whole entire weight loss journey and how I finally broke free from binge eating disorder. But we're here in January 2020 and I was not free from binge eating disorder. So I'm on this cleanse, but we're in LA. So we're linking up with, friends that he knew and family members that he knew. We're going out to restaurants and we're like drinking juice. It's very interesting. And we were on this journey together. That's how I could tell that my intentions were probably purely, most likely, I know they were purely for vain reasons, because here I am on this healthy 21-day juice cleanse, and I'm at this restaurant that specializes in all things, can you say cannabis on YouTube? I don't know. Specializes in all things, that. And it's in everything. It's infused in the teas and the hamburgers and the wings and the drinks. And so we're not eating, but we're still indulging. And so I think I put some inside of my tea and we were sitting there sipping tea, getting high on a 21-day juice cleanse. Very interesting times, just having what we thought was fun, So he stuck around. I think he stayed for like a couple days to a week or something like that. And it was all fun and games, and he was like a great distraction, because as soon as he left, I felt like the world started to kind of close in on me. But on top of that, I was like, well, I gotta get myself together, because I'm out here to find my apartment that I'm gonna stay in, go to all these meetings that my agent set me up with. I wanted to mention that too. When I booked the Oval, I didn't have any representation. And so I literally just picked the agency I wanted to go with, and they accepted me. They agreed and thought it was wise that I have some sense of representation out in LA. And so they set up meetings for me and everything. So I was coming out to LA to also do those, and so that I can kind of jump in on the pilot season that was going on out there at the time. And so he leaves, and it's just like grind mode. Going to this meeting, okay, I'm going to this meeting. Okay, going to this meeting. And I think I had like 3 or 4 meetings set up for pretty well established, well-known LA management companies. There was one that actually wanted me. I ended up making that decision, and I signed with them. I felt good about it. And they were such good people, such dope vibes, still are to this day. And that's what I've been with ever since. They wasted no time. As soon as I signed with them, because we were also in like the beginning of pilot season. And in the acting industry, what pilot season is essentially is every time there's a new show that is being pitched to a major network or any network, they come out with what they call a pilot episode. Like, let's test this out and see if we could turn this into a series, see if it can get greenlit to actually becoming an entire series. And so I was auditioning for so many pilots and leading roles for all of these different pilots, and a movie or so occasionally in there, like major stuff that I look at that's on TV right now. I'm like, I auditioned for that. That's great. I auditioned for that too. Dang, I auditioned for that too. Like, it's just so much on TV. Some shows that got canceled, that I auditioned for at that time. And I'm like, wow, that for them to actually put me out there like that so soon was a big deal for me. On top of that, we start to prepare. We start to get scripts for season 2 of The Oval. Season 2 is slated to start filming in March. And most of y'all know what happened in March 2020. We'll get to that. So I'm out in LA and living my best life, auditioning, going to yoga classes, just kind of by myself. Let me just like walk you through my day in LA. So I would get up in the morning. I would probably do like an hour-long meditation and do all the stuff. And then I would most likely indulge and put something inside of like a tea or something, or a little oil or whatever, because I'm in LA, so I'm thinking, why not? And so I'm like blitzed out of my mind. And I'll go up the street, go to my favorite yoga studio, and then I'll come home, and then I would indulge, and then I would get the munchies, and then I'll go to the corner store, and then just get all this crap, and then I would just binge, and then I would probably not eat for the next day or 3, and then I would just continue that cycle. But all the while, I'm preparing for the Oval, and then I'm preparing for these 4 auditions that are coming up this week, and then on top of that, I'm still maintaining my long distance relationship with my boyfriend. So February is coming up. Got to fly to New York to see him for Valentine's Day and all of these things. It's interesting that time being in LA, it was 2 months, but it felt like many, many more, because I was very busy, because on top of that, I'm still driving around looking at apartments and not officially getting any tours for apartments, but like picking the ones that I want to really look at. I remember I was high out of my mind. I had a really, really bad binge. And I just like passed out into like a whole coma of like that. I remember waking up so groggy, feeling so sick, feeling angry at myself, having all these emotions racing everywhere. And I felt like something was taking over me, and I can't explain it. I was just really not in a good place. I look at pictures back then, and you just look at my eyes and tell I was just so far gone. There wasn't brightness there. I was starting to look a little smoked out. And I was just turning into a whole different person. Like, I would smile in pictures, but it was more sultry, seductive type stuff. It wasn't like, geez, you know, how I used to. I don't know, my little corny smile. But now it was just like this other character taking over me. And I definitely felt that being formulated when I was in LA. And I embraced it. I embraced it with the way I dressed, with, you know, the things I was doing. And so from the outside looking in, nobody knew I was internally struggling. But it was a very dark time for me, even though, oh my God, I'm staying in LA. I'm up the street from the Hollywood stars, which Hollywood is honestly not that nice. It's kind of nasty and dirty, but it's kind of cool to see the stars and stuff. But anyway, I'm doing all these major auditions for all these leading and series regular roles with my new LA managers. And I'm going out here and eating out here and dating this guy. And again, still having that perception of on top of the world. Oh, I'm preparing for season 2 of my TV show. Like, just really thought I had it all. I am dying inside. I wish somebody would have pulled me up out of that pit and said, I got you. Like, let me help you out of this. Because I was coping like crazy because I had so much deep darkness inside of me. Anxiety, insecurity. It almost made me want to cry. Because I was in such a terrible state mentally. And I didn't know what to do about it except for just sit and meditate for an hour. Maybe go do a yoga class. Maybe, you know, smoke again. I don't know. So I know I get frustrated and passionate about it, but I'm looking back at that young lady and I'm just like, my gosh. That was supposed to be a fun, bright spot in my story. I'm in LA. But no. Because LA is also interesting because it's set up like a little wormhole. And nobody really talks about this. But when you go to LA, this was my experience. But it was also kind of validated. I remember, was it this trip or another trip I was in LA? But I remember my Uber driver. I think it was my Uber driver for this trip. I don't know why she was telling me these things. She was a little older. Not an older lady, but she was older than me. Like probably mid to late 40s. And we weren't really talking about much, but she just kind of was looking back and she was just like, you know what? You be careful out here in LA. If you go to any parties, do not put your drink down. If you go to any parties, do not go by yourself. She's like, there is some really dark stuff that goes on in these Hollywood parties out here, so be careful. I was like, yeah, I know, yeah, okay. When she said that, that kind of shook me because I've always heard stuff, but you know, I didn't really take it seriously or wasn't even in that environment. But LA is so interesting because any and everything that you're interested in, whether it be something healthy or harmful, it sucks you in. And so the fact that I was into the new age esoteric stuff, oh, they got that out there for you big time. Or the fact that, you know, I'm into indulging, going to dispensaries. There's many of those out there. But I just feel like I can't describe it. LA is interesting. I can't describe it. Not everything about LA is bad, doom and gloom. It's actually a beautiful place, especially naturally, like the mountains and all these things. But for me personally, what I experienced in that moment was if I made a decision to go towards a thing, whatever it was, it's like something that kind of sucks you in and gives you more and more and more of it. Like until you just can't get enough of it. I can't explain it. I don't know if anybody else feels that way about LA. Maybe that was just me. But energy wise, that's definitely what I feel. Every time I'm out there, honestly, if I stay long enough, anything you want to get into, it's out there for you. But you'll get deep into it. That's what I'm trying to say. But I digress. We are nearing the end of this glorious 2-month trip and pilot season kind of dies down. I'm still printing off my scripts and memorizing my lines, getting ready for Oval season 2. And other little random things are happening. Like the wife of the Airbnb, she has this phenomenal clothing line. She asked me to be a model. So I thought that was cool. So like now I'm like in her, well, this was years ago, so I don't know if she's still using them, but I was in her catalog, did a cool little photo shoot just like up the street from where I was staying. And so that was cool. But then also I remember my mom calling me and freaking out about this coronavirus thing. And she was just like, Don't go get your nails done. Don't go anywhere where, you'll be in contact with like these kind of people. And I was like, Mom, all right. But I did go get my nails done. I was just like, fine. And I remember that it was very eerie because out of nowhere, I got really sick for 2 weeks straight. And I look back, I'm like, did I actually have the coronavirus then? And then I remember I had this crazy dream that my ex was like cheating on me. But what made the dream crazy was that it was so vivid, it felt so real, and I woke up pissed. Like I woke up mad. And I remember I called him about it, and I was like, man, I had this dream that you did, da 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 da. And he was like, oh man, oh gosh, no, that's crazy. We'll get to that later. Then it's time to go. I'm packing up my stuff. I'm getting ready to go. And then I had this really interesting moment happen where I believe in my life I've probably encountered angels maybe 3 or 4 times. And I remember, it's a city of angels. But okay. I remember I had in the kitchen where I was staying, I had all of this fresh produce because I was juicing and everything. And I have a passion for the homeless. So I saw this guy. I was like looking out the window and I saw this guy walking down the street, kind of like digging through the trash cans. And I said, I have all this fresh fruit, all this water. I said, hey, do you need some food? And he was like, yes, please. So I packed up everything and I just gave it to him. I was like, here you go. But when I went to go give it to him to exchange it at the door, something strange happened. He had these piercing blue eyes. And when he looked at me, it looked like he was kind of staring into my soul. And it was like in a millisecond. And he grabbed the grocery bags that I had the produce in and slightly touched my hand. It kind of shocked me, like jolted me a little bit. And he was just like, thank you so much. He took the food and he walked off. It wasn't nothing major or dramatic that happened. But it was so much happening internally with me. And I was just like, why do I feel like this? What just happened? And I remember I was driving to the airport, bawling my eyes out and crying and calling my ex-boyfriend. And I was just like, I think I just encountered an angel. Oh my God. Like, I'm just so emotionally overwhelmed right now. I don't know what's going on. And because what I felt at that moment, it was just like this rush of emotion. I just got very emotional and I can't explain it because there was also like a sense of peace there that he had. And it was like up against my internal struggle of what I had going on. It jolted me. That's the only way I can explain it. And so y'all probably thinking like, what the heck is she talking about? She crazy. But I believe that either maybe he was a believer or an angel or something. But I was just shook by his presence. Like I just was overwhelmed by him briefly taking the groceries, looking at me and saying thank you so humbly and walking up the street. But I was shook. I, to this day, definitely think that was an angel. And what impact it had on me, I couldn't tell you. I was still in a place of darkness. But I definitely remembered that moment. So that was that was a part of my random moments that I had in LA nearing the end of this trip. And so I fly back home and I'm temporarily going to stay at my mother's place because we're about to film season 2 of The Oval. What? And so I get there, I'm prepared, I got the scripts, everything ready. I show up for day 1 to do like rehearsals and fittings and all this stuff at Tyler Perry Studios. And I'm just like, hey y'all ready? And it's like a group of my castmates hanging out in the hallway and they're looking at me like, she doesn't know. I was like, no what? They're like, Tisha, okay, somebody's gonna come and talk to you, but we're not filming. The world is about to shut down. I'm like, what? And then I think back when I was in LA where, okay, I was sick for those 2 weeks and I'm going to CVS to get cough syrup, But then there's this thing that's perceived to be going around. I kind of halfway believe it, but all the masks are gone. All the hand sanitizer disappears. I cannot find any. And I'm just like following my mom's instructions. She's just like, get this, do this, don't go here. And I'm like, okay, okay. But when I come home, I mean, I was just on a flight. You know, I kind of heard people being very more careful about there's something going around. So I'm like, all right, I'll just turn to a little germaphobe. And I'm like wiping down my seat and on my flight and everything. But I don't remember wearing a mask or anything. It just came home. I was just very careful to keep washing my hands because I just got sick. So I don't want to get sick again. That was the extent of it for me mentally, like in my mind. And so, yeah, I'm at the studio and they're just like, everything is shutting down. The industry is shutting down. Nobody is about to work. There goes my plans of filming the Oval and then coming back to LA to move because literally the world is shutting down. Things start to get very dark and scary. You know, you guys remember it. It was, I don't want to go too deep into it because it was a really dark, depressing time on top of everything that was happening in the Black Lives Matter movement. I just got off of social media at that time and I'm hurt. I'm not making this video to be right. I'm not making this video to prove a point or anything. Anger, disgust, hatred, guilt, shamefulness, any emotions that we are all feeling right now are very, very valid. And I just want to take a breath. So if you can do that with me right now, just pause and take a breath with me. For those who lost their breath, all the fighting we're doing is very valid. But don't forget your peace. Just take a breath with me. Staying in the house, I'm scared to go grocery shopping, spraying down our groceries with Lysol, any packages that comes to the house, mail, spraying it down with Lysol, like not going anywhere. I'm just very careful in that moment of stillness and not being able to do anything, not to be able to work, not be able to travel, not being able to literally go anywhere. I started to dive deeper into the new age and literally became a psychic medium. So yeah, we're going to talk about that in episode 3 of Testimony, My Life, His Glory. And we're going to talk more about the new age things that I was into. Jesus is coming soon, I promise. He's coming soon in the story. He's coming soon in the story. But stick with me, hang with me, because everything that I'm sharing with you is going to make the moment that I meet him so much more impactful and powerful. I want you to understand where I came from versus where I am now. Thank you if you watched to the end of this video. Thank you for hanging out with me and spending some time with me. Until next time, peace.